All right, Michael's here.
Let's do it.
All right, let's bring him on.
I could, hey guys, Eddie, the guy that I am, tech savvy guy, did not download. I'm here. I'm texting with Eddie, going, Eddie, I'm trying to download Chrome. I can't get this. I can't get the file. I can't get on. I went on my iPhone. I got it on my iPhone. So
there you go. You look and sound great, man. That's all that matters. Come on.
I need a pair of glasses to see everybody.
We're better not seen, Michael. We're way better not seen. You can just hear us. It's all good.
All right. How you guys? God, the last time I saw all three of you guys together, we were doing that metal show, I think.
Yeah. Remember when Sammy co-hosted with us and wanted to grill you?
I remember you and Sammy bamboozling me into that. And Sammy said he was going to ask me all the difficult questions.
Yeah, because we didn't want to put you on the spot. So like Sammy's like, no, I will. We're like, no, I will. I'm like, all right, good. Then let Sammy do it.
Yeah.
No, what Sammy actually said to me, Michael, was you guys had come on before, and Sammy calls me. He goes, look, I want to come back on. He goes, but I want to be the fourth host. I said, why? He goes, because Michael's getting off too easy here. We got to dig into him a little. He's too nice. We got to grill into him. And that was the only time we ever did the show where we had a fourth person to open the show. Remember, you guys? Sammy was literally our co-host.
Great, and I had to be the guy.
You were great, man. You were great. What's going on? What are you doing?
I'm sitting here. Usually at this time in the afternoon here. You guys are all on the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm here. Newport Beach, Southern California. Summer's finally kicked in. Right outside my house. Chicks or paddleboard. The whole thing's happening now. And so I'm sitting around. Usually at this time, I'll hop on my bike and go take a ride down the boardwalk or somewhere along the beach. And this thing's happening at 4:30 my time in the afternoon. And I'm like, so I got bored. So I had to. I kicked cocktail hour up a half hour.
There you go.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, guys, but you know what? Here, I actually turned this on. This is in my office here because I think Sammy and I were supposed to do this together.
Yeah, he's in Cabo.
That's kind of like where Sammy is right there now. He's like he texted me this morning because I went by his place because he's got him and his wife, Kari, have a place not too far from me here from Newport Beach. And so my wife, Sue, and I went over there and we hung out with him a little bit yesterday afternoon. And, his big thing, him and his wife, Kari, you go into this like exquisite mansion down there where he's at. And you walk inside and Kari goes, oh, come on out. They're going, come on outside on the patio and check this out. And the whole thing's converted into like this freaking ecosystem garden type thing. She goes, oh my God, look, I'm growing tomatoes here and I'm growing that there. And Sammy had a bunch of figs and he brought out wine and he did his whole freaking spiel and we sat there and drank wine and whatever. And then he texted me this morning. He's getting on his plane to go to Cabo and he goes, hey, have fun with Eddie Trunk today. That's all he says. So
yeah, he told me, he goes, I can't do it. He said to me, he goes, I can't do it, but Mikey's going to do it. I'm going to tell Mikey he's got to do it.
Yeah.
And then he's coming on with us in 2 weeks, but he was telling me about you because we were trying to reach you. Sammy called me when I was setting this up, and he called me, and he goes, where's Mikey? He goes, he's not responding to us on text. It's not like him. And then he said, I go, I don't know. I said, I don't know. Maybe he went away. And he goes to me, yeah, he does crazy shit. Like he gets in that RV that he has. He goes to all these crazy locations. He could be off the grid for all we know.
That's good. That's Sammy. Well, you know what? If I'm around, man, maybe I should be the fourth co-host. Grill him a little bit.
You should bomb him in 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. We'll talk about that. After we finish up here.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah.
And, he gets off too easy. He's got his excuses. Oh man, but I did a 3-hour interview with this yesterday and blah blah blah, and my beach bar rum and this, and I got blah blah blah. It goes, but Mikey will do it. Which that's okay. I always love hanging and talking with you guys. So.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
No problem.
Michael, before you came on, we had we call it a metal six pack, our top 6 Van Halen records. So we all went through ours. Yeah. So we all concluded that the debut was number 1, but our number 2 was a lot different. Mine was Van Halen 2. I forget what Eddie's was. Women and children
Women and
first.
children for me at number 2.
Me too.
Okay.
So
Where would you put him?
But where would I put him?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's so hard. I'll tell you, the only album that I would kind of put a little lower down on the list, not up really on my top, top 5 or whatever, would be Diver Down, only because there was so much cover stuff that we did on it. Ted Templeman, when we were doing that record, he was like, "Oh man, yeah, this song, Dancing in the Strong, this will be a hit." Ted Templeman was always doing that. He's always going, "This song will be a hit again, guys. You got to do it. You got to do it." And we did it with You're No Good early on in the career, and it actually, kind of worked for us. But by the time it came to Dancing in the Streets, I was kind of like going, yeah, well, and he's going, yeah, you can play this funky bass line. I'm going, no, I really don't want to do that. But
Yep.
I mean, I dig them all. It's really funny because, lately or the last year or whatever, everyone's talking about, will there ever be a tribute? Will there ever, to Eddie and whatever? And, it's hard feeling all this stuff because, at this point, I think it all pretty much hinges on Alex as far as, whether something like that's going to happen, because, he has to be involved. But I just recently started, when I practice at home, I'm going to be ready for anything that might happen. And I'm starting to go, I'm going to go through all of our albums now, and I'm just stuff that I've forgotten. I'm going to relearn. I'm going to know everything in the Van Halen catalog. So whether it's Sammy or Roth or Sharon or who knows who, this gotta be ready right now.
Well, Michael, I got to ask you this since you brought this up. So on Instagram, a few fans pointed this out to me. Sammy responded to somebody on Instagram a few days ago and was asked if there was ever going to be a Van Halen tribute of some sort. And Sammy replied in the comments and said, "Next year, whoever's in is in. We're doing it." And that raised a lot of eyebrows. Now, I know that's a question for Sammy, but he said that
and he's
on
the guy
Instagram.
who's gonna have to answer. See, it's like, Sammy goes, "Hey, blah, blah, blah," because, Sammy, Eddie, more than anybody else that, every morning when he wakes up, he's got a different plan going,
Right.
And he always, most of the time he calls me and he says, "Hey, Mikey, we got to do this, blah, blah, blah." And, so when it comes to that, I'm going to let him talk to you about that,
Well, he can talk. He talked to the
guy,
person.
But we do. But Sammy and I have been talking about, I mean, we've waited so long for a tribute or whatever. And I know Wolfgang, and God bless him, he's doing great, doing his own thing. And I think I read an interview that he did after he played the Taylor Hawkins tribute thing, saying that the Van Halen stuff that he did was tribute enough for him to his dad.
Yeah.
And he was good with it. And that's great. I respect that, but I'm bummed out because I wish that something like that would happen. I mean, not something that we would, obviously make any money off of, but do a thing like how they did either with Taylor Hawkins or whatever, because every guitarist in the world would want to be a part of it, and it would probably be the best freaking concert, but so I wait, but I'm prepared. I'm ready. If anything,
ready.
Yeah. But what's great about Michael? You don't do any social media at all, do you?
Very little. I do a little bit of Instagramming and whatever, but no.
Yeah, well, Michael's you always stayed out of the fray. You never want to get involved in the mix. I like that. You just low key, like whatever. I'm not getting involved in that drama.
Yeah, I don't like to get involved, like exactly what you just said, Jim. I don't like to get involved in the drama.
Yeah.
And that was really hard. In certain times in Van Halen, because believe me, it's kind of funny because I look on TV and I'm watching things like, behind the music or whatever with other bands. I go, oh my God, look at all that shit they went through. Look, man. And then I sit back and I go, oh my God, we got probably the most drama out of anybody.
Can you imagine if there was social media back then, Michael? What you guys were up to?
Oh.
Well, Wolf said it when people keep asking about all this stuff. Wolf is now just deferring to his uncle and saying, talk to Alex. But Wolf actually said, I think it was in Rolling Stone, he goes, no one would believe the level of dysfunction. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate that a band at that level, which, I've told you this before, Michael. I mean, I view Van Halen like the American Led Zeppelin. I mean, I think it's that important and it's that impactful, if not more so. So it's just hard because, the fans, they all want more. I talked to Brian May on my radio show yesterday.
Right,
He's putting out this Starfleet thing that Eddie did with him 40 years ago because we talked about it. There's just like nothing even from Eddie outside of the band. So people are just dying for anything.
Yeah, exactly. And, and obviously Eddie's brother, Alex, I think Eddie's the only guy he's ever played with.
Right.
I think there was one time, maybe a year or whatever before Eddie passed that the Kenny Chesney was here in town in LA. And I heard that Eddie and Alex went to the show and they got up and they played You Really Got Me with him. It's like Kenny Chesney. I love him. He's the one guy that he comes down to Cabo and everyone's going, yeah, we'll play some Kenny Chesney songs. And him and his band get up there and they just want to play Van Halen. It's, oh man, let's play this and that. But Alex, he's never played, I think, jam with anybody besides his brother.
That's crazy, man.
I love him for that, but it is kind of crazy. Like me, I have a cocktail and I'll jam with anybody. It's a Van Halen band playing down the street. I'm there, dude. Let's
What are you drinking anyway, Michael?
Oh God. Okay, I guess I got to plug it. A little bit of Sammy's spiced Beach Bar rum and Coke.
I was going to say, if it wasn't one of his boozes, you'd never hear the end of it, man.
Well, I do get it for free, so hey.
Yeah.
How's that?
Hey, which is better, Michael? The Beach Bar rum or the tequila? You got a preference?
You know what? I actually like the tequila better myself. And I do take a nip of that on stage when we're out touring. His Santo Mezquila that he came out with. I love that stuff. I can drink it straight and I can drink a lot of it and I'll feel great the next morning as long as I don't mix it with anything else,
Right.
Well, let's let Sammy plug his shit when he's on next week.
Yeah, there you go.
How about you plugging your shit? Michael Anthony makes an awesome hot sauce that I've been a big fan and outspoken lover of for a while. Matt Anthony's Cafe. How's the hot sauce doing? Any new developments in the hot sauce world?
Hot sauce is doing great. We're actually I've within the last I think a year or so, I hired my oldest daughter on, and she kind of does a lot of the marketing and stuff for me now. And we are currently in the process of looking to get my mustard anyway into a couple of stadiums here. And if you can get it into like Eddie, like Legion Stadium in Vegas or whatever, And there's also, I don't know if you've heard of it, Eddie. There's a pizza place called Pizza Rock in Vegas. You ever heard of that?
I haven't been there, but I've heard of it.
Okay, well, my wife and we discovered that one year, and every time I go out there, I've got a place at the RV resort out there because I do like to go out in my bus. I got a big bus, and But my wife and we eat at Pizza Rock all the time now, and I actually the owner of that company is Tony Gamnati, I think is his name. And this guy's like, I told my daughter, I said, oh, we got to get my sauces in Pizza Rock anyway, because they've got a bunch of other, I won't mention the sauce, Tibetan, all those other sauces. So my daughter sends an email and finds this guy, Tony Gamnati, who's, and I find out that this guy is like a world renowned, like he's number one in the world pizza thrower. He wins all these contests in Naples, Italy for Italian food and whatever, and he's opened up all these places. So we sent him. My daughter got a hold of him, and he wants us to send him samples and stuff. And the reason I originally did is because I heard that they've got a couple of places in Allegiant Stadium now. So I'm like, try to get the sauce in there. But it's all fun. I don't look to do it. I'm not as hardcore as Hagar is on all the alcohol and stuff. To me, I like to keep it more fun.
What's the coolest piece of Van Halen memorabilia that you have, Michael?
A cool piece of Van Halen memorabilia?
Yeah, do you have anything like a piece of a stage set or anything from over the years that you kind of treasure?
I'd have to look. I've got stuff like when we came out with this with the EP before our first album ever came out. It was a thing that we came out that Warner Brothers put out on red vinyl. And it had like Elmer Fudd on it. Eddie, you'd know that because you know all this stuff, right?
I don't have it, but I know of it.
Like 4 songs on it. I've got a whole bunch of those, stuff like that. I've got,
Let me know when you give you my address.
Yeah.
As far as actual stage, whatever memorabilia, no. It's kind of funny because when Dave left the band, all of our road cases, all our wardrobe cases and everything was at his house. And so that all went with him when he left the band, and so all that stuff is gone. And
What about the Jack Daniels bass?
oh, I've got that.
The original one?
I've got the original one right now is at the Hall of Fame in Cleveland.
Oh, okay.
That's on loan to them right now. And then I have two other ones. I built a second one that we kind of was a backup to the first, and then the third one I had built for our 2004 the Van Halen debacle tour.
There was a lot of drama on that tour.
Oh,
jeez.
Drama was the middle name of that tour.
Well,
So
it
it
was,
was-
that
Mike-
was the reunion with Sammy when Sammy talks about in his book when Eddie had the samurai hair, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The
it was
cocaine
that,
is-
or the Pebbles Flintstone, or however you wanted to,
I was at that show at the Meadowlands, and I hate to say it, but half the night he was playing a different song than the rest of you guys.
Yeah, we had to learn to really be spontaneous during that trip.
It's a nice way to put it.
And I, obviously, I loved Eddie, and I don't like to even say anything bad about even all the bad stuff we went through. And he was going through a real difficult time in his life. We didn't understand it at the time. It was kind of all we were like, hey, dude, let's go out. We can tour the world 10 times. Blah blah blah. Everyone's this and that, whatever. And it was a really difficult thing.
Was there more drama on that tour than any
There
other?
we go.
Than any other the Roth tours when Dave
Drink, you're making him drink.
No,
when Dave was in the band? Was it any
there was always drama on the Roth tours too.
right? But not as
It
bad.
was a different kind of drama. Yeah, not
Yeah,
so
okay.
bad. I mean, there were times, God, I forget which tour it was. I'll just give you a real quick little story. Not so much drama, but just how it was with Dave on tour. We were staying somewhere in the Midwest, and Dave, we all kind of came to the conclusion that he was bipolar because he would be great, and then all of a sudden he would just like kind of freak out or whatever. And one night, it's like, we have the night off, and everybody was whatever we were doing. It was like around midnight, 1 a.m, and everyone was pretty much back at the hotel. And I hear all this commotion out in the hall and pounding and screaming. I'm going, what the hell's going on? So I put my shorts on. I go walk down the hall, and our security guys have got Roth in a straitjacket. Okay, now see that our security guys used to carry a straitjacket on tour. I won't get into that part of it, okay?
Right.
But they used to carry a straitjacket on tour, and Roth was just like screaming, naked, sitting in one of our security guys' rooms wearing this straitjacket. And supposedly Dave, he liked to drink Jack Daniels, but he couldn't handle it like I can handle it. Dave had a little bit of Jack Daniels, and he'd get a little crazy. And I guess they found him wandering around outside the hotel naked. And this is just one night out of 7 nights a week, being on tour. So
Yeah, well, that's where you didn't want social media in your life back then.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, would you ever
social media really started kicking in, the partying really started kind of calming down,
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, two quick things because we don't have a ton more time, but I want to ask you. I always wanted to ask you this. First of all, what were you like? I know you were in a band before joining Van Halen because they actually were knocking around playing backyards with a different bass player, I think. And then, but you were around and you had your own band, which I think you were the lead singer in. Can you talk a minute about like your history before joining VH and like what you were doing? And did you used to go see them at those backyard parties?
Yeah, well, I mean, I knew Eddie, and I didn't know them, but I knew of Eddie and Alex because after high school, I went to Pasadena City College, which in that area there, it was just, it's just an extension of high school basically. And Eddie and Alex were taking jazz improv classes, and I actually was taking a jazz improv class. And I don't know why I was taking that, but it was cool. And I'd see those guys sometimes going back and forth from classes. I grew up in the city called Arcadia, and they were having a big carnival out in the field, where like the football field and whatever one weekend. And that's the first time I ever saw those guys play. It was Eddie and Alex. Roth wasn't even in the band yet. Eddie and Alex, and Mark Stone was playing bass, and Eddie was doing all the singing. But it'd be like they'd launch into this thing where, you know, they'd play a whole bunch of Cream, and Eddie was just like, you know, note for note. I'm sure, you know, you've read about all that stuff. And so I knew of them there, you know, through all that. And, you know, subsequently Dave joined the band, and a band that I was playing in, we were called Snake, very original name. And we actually opened up for Van Halen at a little theater at the Pasadena City College, opened up for Van Halen. And that's actually my first contact when I first met those guys. And I remember sitting in the parking lot talking to Eddie for like maybe a couple hours after that gig, just, you know, hey, you know, because everybody knew who everybody was, but, you know, everybody kind of sneered all the bands, you know, they kind of like, yeah, that's that guy in that band, and that's that guy in that band. And it was through a mutual friend, actually, of Eddie's and mine, that Eddie knew going to the Pasadena City College, and a good friend of mine, he was my friend in high school, that he found out that their bass player they were getting rid of their bass player. And he went to Eddie and said, hey, Eddie, my buddy Michael Sobolewski, you know, I think he'd be interested in joining. And that's, you know, and actually Alex called me, but I was playing in this band called Snake, and we were doing basically backyard parties. We were doing some original stuff, but obviously not, Van Halen, they were playing Hollywood, you know, they were playing Gazzarri's on the Strip. You know, we weren't doing that kind of stuff. So, it was basically jeans and t-shirt type stuff, you know, and, but yeah.
You going to write a book one day, man? Everybody else has done a book. You're going to do a book?
I get pressed by a couple of people. In fact, the guy, I forget his name right offhand, the guy who did Sammy's book, he's been after me to do a book. And I don't know, you know, it's like, what do I do? Do I do what Sammy, Sammy, he just kind of bared it all, you know. Yeah. His wife was thinking divorce probably after she read the book. And there were a couple things that he toned down, because he asked me to write the foreword in the book, and then the chapter on the Van Halen reunion part. I told him, I said, Sam, you got to change this, change that. And all this stuff was true, but I said, you can't be, talking like that. And that's the one kind of fine line that, do I go out and just do a tell all, but I don't want to alienate any fans or what, because I'll tell you, if I open this up and spilled out what but then everybody else in the band did too. That was kind of like the boys club, the unspoken rule that you never said anything bad about your brothers, but, I think sometime I'd like to, but I'd like to do it the right way. I don't want like the dirt, and I know a lot of people they want to read all the dirt.
Hey, so we'll each hit you with one last thing, and then we'll let you go. Last thing from me. Last you were on my radio show not long ago, you were doing your own band where you were going to play some songs. And I think you had John 5 up there playing with you, and you did that club gig. And then when you came on and announced that, and that got people thinking like, wow, Michael's got his own thing going. He's going to roll with the band. He's going to record. Like, where are you at with that? Was that just a one-off thing, or do you want to turn that into something?
That show was supposed to be just a one-off thing, and it actually just stemmed from my daughter talked me into auctioning off a bass the year before for her foundation. It's called Save the Heartbeat, and I did. And then my son-in-law, the knucklehead he is, he goes, hey, let's have somebody, auction off the chance to come up and jam with you. And, I had a couple cocktails whenever I go, yeah, that'd be a cool idea. Well, next thing, this guy spends all his money to do that. And then the next day I'm going, well, how are we going to do this? I can't go, hey, Sammy, Jason, you guys, hey, I got this guy's going to come up and So then that's how this whole kind of gig got put together. And then everybody's looking at me going, okay, Mike, you got all your buddies, have all your buddies play this thing. And I'm going, oh, geez. And, surprisingly enough, it was great. I called, like John 5 and a Bumblefoot and a bunch of other people came and played it. And we are thinking of possibly doing it again and doing it, I don't want it to be something that's like a real big formal type thing. I'd like to really keep it casual, but possibly do it somewhere and get a big venue, a bigger venue, because this was like a 700 seat club. And I mean, it was great. The whole thing turned out great, and everybody that came, Trey Cool from Green Day, he's my neighbor down here. He came, and it's just everybody who came to do it. And Hagar even showed up, at the last minute. He said it, but yeah, I'd like to do it again, to do it for the foundation. But it was really fun. It's the first time I had ever put anything even on that scale together, and it was a lot of fun.
You guys got anything before we let them go?
No. Hey, one thing I want to tell you though that I was going to mention if we talked about it, because we were talking about tribute stuff the other day, and this is just coming from me. The other day I listened to there's a new song that Wolfgang's got out, "Take a Bow." It's called. I don't know if you guys have heard it yet.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I heard that song, and it's a long song for what it is, but when the solo kicked in, I seriously got goosebumps. I don't know if his father, if Ed was channeling through his kid, but to me, that was something that Eddie would have played to a piece of music like that. And I was getting goosebumps. I was freaking out. And then I read somewhere where Wolfgang said that he used one of his original Frankenstrat and one of his early Marshalls that he used for when we recorded the early Van Halen records. And it was just a really, I mean, I love what he's doing, and that's why, whatever he says about, a reunion or this, that, I mean, if we ever did something and he was part of it, that'd be great. I'd love to jam with him, but I love what he's doing on his own, and he's kicking ass out there.
For sure.
Hey,
That's
Michael. Oh, go ahead, Jim.
No, you could go. You go.
I was just gonna say, Michael, if you need a pair of these sneakers, I have a friend who can officially license them for you.
Dude, are they like Converse? Are they like flat Converse stuff? Because I can't wear Converse. I have flat feet, dude. And like 3 blocks, and I'm done. I'm laying down.
I know. I need the arches. I'm like that too.
Yeah.
It sucks getting old. I got the inserts, all that.
Jason gave me a pair. They have these special Led Zeppelin shoes they came out with, and I've got the pair, brand new in the box. They look freaking great. I tried them on. I go, yeah, check these out. I'm telling my wife, and I go on out and I'm wearing them. And after about 2 blocks or 20 minutes, whatever, I'm going, oh man, God. I was like, yeah, it sucks.
Yeah, that's how they make them. AC/DC's got them. Black Sabbath's got them. Those flat Converse ones. So I don't wear them either. I just keep them.
To make them that's got a little bit of support in them.
I got the Converse ones. Somebody gave me ones that say 78 on them and they're actually licensed with Eddie Van Halen playing guitar on the side of the sneaker. They're awesome.
Oh, really?
Same thing, Michael. I can't. 2 minutes, my feet are killing. When you get to be our age, man, it's comfort over fashion anytime.
Well,
look at us. You're a t-shirt guy.
Eddie, I still have to be kind of fashion conscious. A little bit of Just for Men on the goatee. That's the way I'm rolling right now because I'm not ready to cut it all loose yet.
Yeah. You're not giving up yet. Hey,
well, I'm younger than you when I am.
I will tell you really quick because I wanted to, when you're asking about what we're doing, Sammy and I, we do have some cool stuff we're talking about for next year. And I'm not saying, but I am saying, with Eddie gone and nothing happening, Sammy and I are brainstorming on some really cool stuff that we're hopefully going to put together for next year.
That's awesome. Now,
with some cool people.
So no Sammy dates this year. Maybe just doing the Sammy Bash in Cabo in October.
Yeah, we're just doing a few spot dates. We have a couple dates in July. I think we're doing the 15th of July. We're doing the Pearl Room, the Circle. We're doing the Pearl Room at the Palms.
Right.
Vegas.
Eddie, if you're around, if you're in town.
Yeah, I got on my calendar.
Yeah, and we're doing just a couple shows like that, and then beginning of next year in February, I believe we're doing this thing. It's this Rock Legends cruise. We did it once before.
Yep.
And I know Billy Gibbons is on it now. Sammy just told me yesterday that Collective Soul's doing it, and there's a bunch of other people that signed up for it. So, those are interesting because Hagar does not do well on a boat.
No, why not?
On a ship at all. Well, 50% of it is he just gets sick on boats like that, and the other 50% is that he just locks himself in his room.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Because you're stuck on the boat for 5 days. You can't go anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, but you can. Well, we did one once before, and I went out and I hung out at the pool with some fans, and
See,
That,
Mikey
I can
knows
only
how
do
to
it
You
act.
for a
gotta
couple
be-
hours,
you
and
gotta
they
be willing to
carry me
wanna-
back- They got to carry me back to my room, but
Right. You got to get yourself in the headspace for that. I get it.
yeah,
Hey,
it was
Mike-
fun. We did it once before with Bad Company. It was a lot of fun. So
Michael,
I'm looking forward to that. But
that's great, man.
If we do something, hopefully we're looking towards next summer.
So, Michael, we got this quick question before the show ends. This big, segment. It's called This versus That, and this week it's going to be the fair warning record against women and children first.
You got to pick one.
You got to pick one.
So we're going to make our picks. We'll start with me. We'll work our way down
All right.
from the top.
Yes.
So me, Jim, Don, and then Michael, you're the deciding guy. Tell us who's right and who's wrong. We kind of talked about this when we did the six-pack earlier, but I'm between these two records, I'm going Women and Children. I think it's a super underrated record. I think In a Simple Rhyme, one of my all-time favorite VH songs, Fools, Everybody Wants Some, Cradle Will Rock, Romeo Delight, just insanely great record. Not to say Fair Warning isn't, but I give the edge to Women and Children.
All right,
Jim?
I'm giving the edge to women and children first, only because I wasn't crazy about Push Comes to Shove on Fair Warning, and
Whoa.
yeah,
Whoa.
yeah, I don't know.
That's baseline.
That's what happens when you let Roth go vacation on an island.
I just never never connected with that. So I do like the bass line in that song, but other than that, and then
saving himself.
and then One Foot Out the Door, I was like, so but they're good, but not great. Everything on Van Halen, Women and Children First, is amazing. So that's why I take this one by a nudge. If Women and Children is a 10, Fair Warning's a 9. That's how close it is.
Okay.
But Jim, didn't you have Fair Warning higher on your six-pack?
No, I had a number 3.
I don't know. Let's check that, Joe.
Rewind the tape.
I had a number 3, and I had Fair Warning 4.
Okay, all right.
I'm a professional. I know my Van Halen.
I know you do. And I'm gonna, for all the same reasons, I'm going for Women and Children first. Again, the Cradle Will Rock right out of the gate was just blew my mind out, and all the way down through Lost Control, one of the most chaotic, crazy Van Halen songs, ending with a simple rhyme. Going with Women and Children first. But what's the real answer, Michael?
Wait, what?
All right,
Real quick,
guys.
Michael, real quick. So, Don, you're saying you didn't like the bass line and Push Comes to Shove either?
That's one of
You
my
said
favorites.
you said you're agreeing with me, and at first,
Oh boy.
I asked for it.
So we're all saying Women and Children, which is crazy because every guitar player I talk to says Fair Warning is the album, the Brown sound, the tone, this, that, whatever. But the three of us favor Women and Children.
You got what? Mean Streets on there.
Yeah.
Unchained.
So this is love.
And, with the exception, I think, of those two, it's Women and Children for me also.
Wow.
Yeah. All right.
Darker, heavier record. Women and Children's maybe the heaviest Van Halen record.
And it was, and when Eddie played and the Cradle Will Rock, as much as that kind of stuff, Roth was not into Eddie doing any keyboards. Him, Al, and I jammed at the studio, and he had this. And in fact, I've still got the one that we used to play because we played on stage. Little Wurlitzer electric piano blowing through his Marshall. People didn't even know it was a piano. A lot of people didn't even know it was a keyboard. They were all like, "What the hell is that?" And when he first showed that to Alex and myself and we jammed it, I was going, "Oh my God!" And I knew it was like a new, not era, but a new thing, a new twist, a new thing for Van Halen musically, and it was great.
Hear About It Later, a phenomenal song on Fair Warning, probably my favorite song on that record. But then, to me, the counter to that is In a Simple Rhyme on Women and Children, which is also equally great. So you can't go wrong with any of them. I make the case, I say it all the time, first 4 Van Halen records among the greatest run of 4 records of any band ever in history. It's just ridiculous.
Well, thank you very much.
Hey, man.
What about the bass line on Push Comes to Shove?
We're going to let you go.
You like that?
Check out Michael Anthony's hot sauce. It's phenomenal. Look for Michael with the
We'll talk about
circle.
that next time.
Look for Michael with the circle doing some shows. There are a few dates this year. And then, as he said, big stuff coming next year. Yeah. It's always great to talk to you, buddy. I'm going to be in touch with you. I'm going to try to see you in Vegas. And I thank you for taking the time. You guys.
Yeah, Eddie, come on out to the show, man, next month. We'll have fun.
All right, man. Thank you so much. Best
Thanks,
to the
Michael.
family.
Thank you.